Um, I'm going to talk about mental health and being gifted because these are two categories that are really separate from each other. Yet at the same time, most people who are naturally gifted by God are shunned, thought of as stupid and or crazy / mentally impaired. So to anyone listening to this video, you have to know that you have to be fully yourself. There is no option other than that. When it gets to the point of seeking help, you do that freely, for you can't be you can't be yourself, and it prevents you from going out to work or just there's things if you don't understand yourself, and if you understand yourself, that you might seek help for. But mostly you have to be careful, especially if you pray to God, believe in God, and realize that, first of all, that thoughts happen to everyone. You just have to reach to a point where you learn to perfect your senses in a way that thoughts are just, because they're mere breath. That's in the Bible. They come and they go. But the more you practice piousness, I don't want to say fasting, because most people may use that as a means to an end rather than proper dieting and drinking lots of water, rather. But as you can't bribe God anyways, basically. So meditation is really good. Fasting is good if you want to cut, fats and all that in the body. But there's nothing against anything. But thoughts, rather, they happen to everyone. So if you understand this, then you know that you live in full truth, because living in truth is better than achieving a lot, If there was an issue and I had two people to approach, let me just not talk about that, because that is, no, because that may, I'm not going to talk about that. I changed my mind. But anyways, when it comes to mental health, there are things that push you to go get, speak to a doctor. But at the same time, those are to the extreme cases and points where you're overwhelmed by things. But you have to be told of what's going on. If there's any drug usage, you have to accept it and let it go fully, and then you go seek help. But if you are aware of yourself and people keep telling you things and making you seem stupid, but when it comes to actually performing, you do things and it amazes people, actually pushes them to jealousy and shock and amazement, because they're like, how is it? Because people have this place that they put other people. But I had a friend once and they told me that everyone is crazy and dealing with, in some sense, and dealing with their own, I don't want to say demons, but their own problems, because demons is on a whole other, it's metaphorical, not literary. So at the same time, you have to know who you are, who you tell yourself you are, who you really live in truth, because that's the real, you can be lied. Because I've noticed when God opens your eyes and opens his full grace to you, People can't fool you as much as they did in the past. You can distinguish between true and false, and anyone could be gullible, but at the same time, how do you react to the observation of people treating you? And this really pushes people forward, because that's how people win. Because you don't have to react. You of course you're gonna get angry, but if you submit to God, nothing is impossible, my friend. Nothing is. So again, pray, meditate on the word, and draw closer to God. No matter how much you feel like you sin or live a sinful life, the goal at the end of life is repenting, living a religious life, and drawing closer to God. However, that applies to anyone's life. It doesn't have to be the same. Actually, I'm not a blueprint, but an example, because I've been through things where you go through things and you feel like, okay, you change because you feel like you're being called to a purpose that's higher than even yourself. But there are the lessons too, which change you into someone else. So in this day and age, it's kind of hard to figure that out. That's why most people go crazy, because they don't practice things that keep them sane in a fast-moving, fast-developing world where everyone just worships money and status and things that really are fleeting, rather than the source of those things. There's a really, really clear difference between going to a desert and finding an oasis and praising and praying to the water, rather than the source of the water, which is the infinite, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. So again, everyone gets their own revelation at different times, but just pray to God, or just meditate and ask for an answer, a revelation and guidance, and whatever you pray for comes to you, and doesn't mean materially, but what you pray for. And if you seek God, He opens up to you. So, alrighty.